Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, May the 13th, 2020, and this is the English language summary for the daily press briefing here at the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA, as usual. So today is Wednesday, and we are midweek, we are mid-month into our daily briefings. Basically, the spokesperson began with the reiteration of three important criteria in relaxing restrictions. First, of course, is the necessity of the relaxation. Second, the risk. And third, the impact on the public. The spokesperson also reiterated the 5 measures that need to be complied with and adhered to in terms of the opening of business venues, as has been repeated often. The first is, of course, maintaining cleanliness. Second, the use of face masks. The third, using hand gels to have them available. The fourth is 1 meter, at least 1 meter social distancing. And the last is, of course, limitation of the number of people in various business establishments. Of course, globally, we are monitoring the situation. The spokesperson mentioned about the cases in various countries. Globally, approximately 4.3 million confirmed cases around the world already, and unfortunately, almost 300,000 fatalities around the world. The spokesperson also mentioned about some cases in certain countries, such as the Republic of Korea and Germany. Today, we also had a special guest from the director of the National Office of Buddhism at this press briefing, who gave information about the project that various venues will be providing food free of charge to the public in canteens, particularly in Buddhist temples around the country, and this is recognized by the Supreme Patriarch of Thailand. The National Office of Buddhism will play a coordinating role in this project in which the canteens providing free food to the public will be available in Buddhist temples around the country in all 77 provinces around the country, totaling 914 canteens and servicing around 270,000 people per day in each canteen. Of course, this is a reflection of the compassion, of the empathy that we have towards others, of all people of all religions and all faiths. And the director of the National Office of Buddhism also mentioned that this project will be extended to the various Thai Buddhist temples around the world, in other countries as well, which number around 500 Thai Buddhist temples in other countries around the world. So moving on to the general situation and number of cases that we have. For today, we have recorded 0 confirmed case. 0, as you see on the English language slide, 0, 0, null, soon. But however, this is only a first. Of course, the criteria that we have to look into will take longer than just 1 day. We might be happy with this number, but of course, we must not take it lightly or be too happy prematurely, because we must not rest on our laurels or be overconfident. So we have to look at the coming days as well. But it's happy to hear 0 confirmed cases in Thailand for today. So the total accumulated number of cases in Thailand remain at 3,017. Recovered and discharged is 2,844, which accounts to around 94% now of all the cases. 94% of all cases have recovered. So approximately 117 infected persons remain in treatment in hospitals, and 0 fatalities. As for observations, we have up to now 50 provinces around the country that have not seen any case, new confirmed case in the past 28 days. So that is well above more than half of the number of provinces in Thailand. 50 provinces with no cases in the past 28 days. And still a total number of 9 provinces around the country that have not found any confirmed case at all. So once again, we see the numbers continuing on a positive trend, triggering questions and expectations on the easing of restrictions, of course. So we continue to deal with what you call the lockdown fatigue and assess on a daily basis. As viewers are aware, we mentioned often that this Friday there will be a meeting of the CCSA on the 15th of May to consider the second phase details, relaxations, and the government has been making these assessments based on Thailand's situation. And as mentioned, we're looking for a balance in terms of public health, between public health, economy, and the capacity for treatment and all the various factors. Of course, for months we have been working closely on this assessment towards the second phase, moving on to the second phase. And we have also been monitoring the advice from the World Health Organization on reopening as advised by the World Health Organization for many countries. Just this Monday, the Director General of the WHO said that before any country begins to lift restrictions, it should have the epidemic under control, ensure that health systems are able to cope with the potential resurgence, and then ensure necessary testing, tracing, and other infrastructure in place. So this is the guidance of the World Health Organization. And they also urged caution on easing restrictions too prematurely and pointed to the numbers of countries that there have been increases in terms of premature releasing flexibility. And our spokesperson had also mentioned different cases in other countries like the Republic of Korea, as well as examples of measures in Germany as well. So for us, we are monitoring closely the reopening plans, the roadmaps, and the types of relaxations. First, from opening up various business sectors, promoting a takeaway food culture in restaurants, minimizing number of people in various venues, not to be congested, and promoting new habits of hygiene. And of course, to identify a new normal that is ready for the pandemic in the long run. So what's clear is that, of course, for all countries, we are eager to reopen for economic reasons, but of course, for the same reasons, we have to be wary and mindful of be cautious of the second wave, which should be avoided at all costs, because it could have an even deeper and longer impact on the economy than what we are already experiencing. So moving on to the compliance measures, we continue to monitor the compliance of business sectors in the relaxation. We have an English language slide for you again today. The overall picture reveals that from the 3rd to the 13th of May, a total of 154,000 establishments were inspected, site inspection, of which around over 4,000 establishments did not fully meet the recommended requirements. So you see on the slide, we have two slides here, not in full compliance. There's a number of that group. So percentage-wise, this represents around 2.6% of establishments not fully meeting the recommended requirements. And from yesterday, this is a slight change from the numbers recorded. So although the overall picture, there's a decrease in the rate of infection, 0 today, it might bring us some relief, but for relaxation, any further relaxation depends on, of course, our continued vigilance. And it is not time to let our guard down, and the violations or the full compliance remains a big concern for the government. On the issue of the Thai nationals abroad, to date, we have repatriated 6,675 Thai nationals by air from 33 countries and territories around the world. You can see on screen from the 13th to the 20th, we are expecting, in terms of projection, around 22 more flights from the countries that you see on screen, including the Ukraine, the Philippines, India, Germany, Bangladesh, and other countries. We have images, as usual, on the activities of various Thai embassies around the world for you. So firstly, we have from the Royal Thai Embassy in Brazil, where the Thai embassy and staff there put together care packages, including face masks and vitamins, and sent to the Thai Trade Promotion Office in Sao Paulo to distribute to students there in that location. And those students stranded there from Argentina and Uruguay, still waiting in Sao Paulo for their repatriation flight as well. And we also have the image from the Royal Thai Embassy in Rabat, Morocco. 3 separate teams were sent to bring dried foods, medicines, and vital items to Thais living in various parts of the Kingdom of Morocco. We bring to you good news stories as well, not only from government, from embassies, but also non-government and associations and clubs. So we call this good news because they involve the proactive and important contributions, acts of kindness, acts of empathy, coming from all sectors, diverse communities and organizations living in Thailand. So last week we have an image here of a club, the Embassy Secretary and Staff Club, or ESSC, that organized an activity at Wat Rangsit Temple in Pathum Thani province to provide lunch, water, and face masks to those in need in that community. Also noteworthy and heartwarming is another story in Patong in Phuket, where an Austrian national by the name of Mr. Willie distributed free gas and fuel for an hour to those in the community impacted by COVID. These images are from social media, a Thai social media page, and we thank them for that. Of course, these stories reflect the beauty of the human spirit and together to overcome the difficult times and leaving no one behind. It reminds us that anyone and everyone can be a hero during this time. Today, the questionnaire portion, there were some questions direct spokesperson. One question was that since we have 0 new confirmed cases, no new confirmed cases, can we generalize that the situation is safe now? The answer is from the spokesperson, of course, is a strong no, of course not. We cannot generalize or summarize that the situation is totally safe now. We have to look at the numbers in terms of the duration of the coming days as well to assess an average. So wait for tomorrow, wait for the upcoming days. Then we can be sure about the various measures that we have to adjust. So good numbers to be happy, but then, of course, we cannot be complacent, and we cannot say that it is totally a safe situation now. So remain vigilant. Second question, addressed directly to the spokesperson, was about the pantry of sharing as well, the cleanliness of the pantries. So he recommended that when you fill the pantries of sharing in Thailand, or when you take items out, when people take items out, ensure that there is a surface cleaning by the owners of the pantry of sharing. Surface cleaning, maintain cleanliness and hygiene, and also, of course, to avoid congestion or too close of proximity when people visit the pantries of sharing. So just some parting thoughts to share with you today. Of course, we say that having a balance is best. So don't do too much, but don't do too little in everything. We have to enjoy life, but of course balance it with the necessary precautions. So therefore, find your balance in the new normal. หาความสมดุลในชีวิตวิถีใหม่ And remember that we are stronger than the lockdown fatigue. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope you stay safe, stay strong, and be there for each other. And see you again tomorrow. สวัสดีครับ